Hello, hello. I am so excited that you are here with me today. Let me just tell you really quickly a little bit about me. My name is Jessie. I am a mom of 8 kids. I've been pregnant 7 times to full term, including a set of twins. So I have learned a thing or two along the way about preparing for pregnancy and labor and delivery and how to recover postpartum. I'm also a certified personal trainer with a specialization in pre and postnatal exercise. So I know a thing or two, but aside from everything that I've learned, is this very deep passion that I have to encourage women to grow in strength. This is something that has maybe not been a strong message that you have received over your course of your life, but it is so important that we care about how much muscle we have on our bodies, that we care about being able to be active for a long period of time, to be able to be there with our kids, to be able to be self-sufficient and autonomous. This is so important to all of us, I know. And there are 6 vital movements that you should be incorporating into your life in order to maintain that muscle mass and achieve your goal of longevity. Okay, so this is not a complete workout program. This free series is all about teaching you these basic movements and how to have mindful, proper form when you do them so that you can create your own workout sort of playlist, workout list, or so that when you go to a class or you work with a trainer, you're already coming armed with knowledge of like how to move your body and you're practicing that mindfulness of your form. Okay, so if you have ever had a child, you are postpartum. That's the first thing I want to say as we begin this. And if you have not carried a child in your womb, you still have the toll of so many years of probably poor posture, poor core control, and maybe even improper movement when you exercise. So we are going to be really focused on like correcting that form and also recovering our muscle tension if you have had children before. So we are today going to go over the number one move that you should be doing for strength training and weight bearing exercise. All right, and that is a squat. I'm going to go over a couple different ways that you can do a squat, and you can incorporate this with weights, without weights, and just to keep it fresh and mix it up. So maybe you decide that Monday is going to be your squat day, or Monday and Thursday are going to be squat days. And you do squats, and you can switch it up with different tempos, different rep counts, different form. And I'm just going to show a few of those options to you today. Okay, so first we're going to go over our most basic no load bearing squat. So something that I'm going to be working on with you over the course of this free week is tucking our pelvis under and sucking our core in. Now, when I say sucking our core in, just relax your muscles for a second and suck your core in. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are activating your core. So when I say suck your core in, sometimes I let that slip. That doesn't necessarily mean just suck it in. I mean to engage the core. So think of it as wrapping around from your back, and I'm going to squeeze like everything into my spine. So this is called the linea alba. If you have alpha separation, you can still do this. In fact, you should be doing this. I am thinking about this gap in here almost like I'm trying to like pinch these 2 sides of my abdominals together, and I'm pressing my back against an imaginary board. So I'm going from this to this. I am fully engaged. My abs are completely engaged. My glutes are engaged. And if you think about your pelvis, think of it as like a bowl. What we want is this bowl to not be tipping forward or tipping backwards. We want this bowl that's right in our pelvis here to be completely level. Okay, so most of us, we've got to stand, got a baby on our hip or something like that. Our pelvis is not level. It's tipped forward and off to the side. All right, if you are hunched over something, right, like that form, our bowl is tipping forward. We want it to be completely level. Okay, so if you want to stand against a wall while you do this, you can. So you've got your back pressed against the imaginary board. I'm wrapping my abdominals around. I'm pressing them against my spine. My glutes are engaged. I'm squeezing my cheeks together so that my pelvis is tucked under. Okay, you ready? So we're right here. Your hands can be wherever you want. And we're just going to send our hips back while squeezing our glutes as much as we can, sending our hips back. Our chest is going to lean forward slightly just to offset the weight of our glutes going back. So I'm not leaning forward, but I'm just slightly allowing my chest to come forward. I'm slowly, at some point, I have to release that clinch on my butt cheeks. But as soon as I start to go back up, I'm re-engaging as soon as possible into a full contraction at the top. Okay, so let's do that one more time slow, and then I'm gonna add another form cue in here. All right, we are tucked, we are squeezed, we're wrapped around, we're engaged. Our back is pressed against imaginary board. Our hips get sent back. My chest comes forward ever so slightly, but I'm not stooped over. My shoulders are back and down. Down, down, down. Now my butt cheeks have to come apart because I'm just folding so much in my range of motion. But as soon as I start to go back up, I'm re-engaged. I'm re-engaged. I'm re-engaged. Squeeze up to the top. So this is how slow we're going. 4 counts on the way down. Hold for 2 counts. And now we're going to explode up for 2 counts. Okay, so it's going to be faster on the way up as it is on the way down. Here we go. One more time. Form check. Here we go. Down, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Up, 2. Squeeze. One more time. Down, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Up, 2. All right. I hope you felt your core, your glutes, your back. Like, I hope you felt everything, your quads. All right. Now, I'm going to add a couple of more form cues in here. One is that we want to track our knees over our toes, okay? So you don't want your knees going in. You don't want your knees going out, all right? You want them directly tracking over your toes. For women, this can be hard. We can have a bit of an angle in our knees depending on what your hip angle is. Some ways that you can correct. If you have a ball, let's just say you watch a video and you notice your knees are going in, put a ball between your legs just to help you out, to make sure that they're tracking directly over your toes. Or if you have a band, if you notice that your knees are going out, you can put a band on to just kind of remind you that they're supposed to be tracking over your toes. This also adds a little bit of resistance to the inner outer thigh, which is another variation that you can do with your squat. Okay, so that's the one form tip I want to give you, is make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. And there was another one. Push through your heels. Push the floor away. Think about that thing. I'm pressing against the ground as I stand up. Let's do 2 here with those form cues in mind. We're always going to be tucking, squeezing, wrapping around, pressing our back against that imaginary board that's just, like we're laying against an imaginary board or just laying against the ground. We're going to send our hips back for 4. Hold at your lowest range of motion for 2, and then up for 2. 2 reps. Here we go. Knees tracking over our toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2. Squeeze. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2. Press the floor away and squeeze. Okay, great. Now we're going to do some squat variations so that you can mix it up week to week. Now, this is a 4-2-2 count that we're doing. This is great for hypertrophy, which is building, growing muscle. I have a little one coming in. Someone's with him. Okay, so we're going to do what's called a sumo squat. So here, 1, 2, 3, about. My feet are wider than my shoulders and my hips. My feet are out at a 45, and my knees are still going to be tracking over my toes. All right. We still want this pelvic tuck. You're not going to be going straight up and down necessarily. Your chest is still going to be coming forward ever so slightly to counterbalance the hips going back. All the other form cues still apply. The flat back, the wraparound core, the squeezing the glutes, the pelvic tuck, the pressing the floor away, the knees tracking over the toes. All of that still applies. We're going to go down 4, hold 2, up 2. I'm going to add another form cue. Breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. So inhale 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale 2. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale 2. Now, as far as how far apart your feet are, that's really dependent on comfort. You can mess around with a little bit. We want to avoid this angle getting too dramatic, but we also we also want to be able to get to that 90-90. So if we look right about here, I'm just about at a 90-90. That's going to look maybe a little bit different for you depending on how long your femur is. I'm fairly equally proportioned, so it's easier for me. Okay, so that's a sumo squat. Now you can always grab a weight for either the sumo squat or the regular squat, and I'm going to show you some different ways to hold the weights when you do your squat. I'm going to go ahead and just grab my 12 pounders. You can grab anything here. Grab fives and grab as high as 50s, depending how strong you are, okay? All right, this is called a suitcase squat. So we're just holding the weights. This engages your upper body. So do not think that squats are just a lower body exercise. This is going to majorly engage your triceps, your shoulders, your forearms, okay, even your biceps. All right, 4, 2, 2. Here we go. Check your form. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. Exhale, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. Exhale, 2. Okay, so that's called a suitcase squat. Now, if you want to make it fun and challenging, you can also just use one weight. This gives you a little bit of asymmetric contraction so that if you're trying to work maybe the sides of your core, you don't actually need to do core on the floor, especially if you have diastasis recti or just a weak core from pregnancy or any other reason. This gives you a little bit of asymmetric contraction, so you only have the weight in one hand. You're working your obliques as you go down, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2. Squeeze your booty at the top. All right, another way to do a weight hold is to hold them up at your shoulders. This again is going to be more core work. So if your goal is to max out your leg capacity, hold them down at your sides, right? But if you want to engage that core, engage that upper body a little bit more, this is a great way to do it. So let's practice going from that ugly stance to tightened in, core engaged, back protected. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale, 1, 2. Now, if your range of motion is less, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale, 1, 2. That's completely fine. The last one I want to show you, excuse me, recovering from a little bit of a cold last week, is a goblet squat. So the goblet squat is fun because, again, it allows you to hold the weight in front of you, but a lot of people can lift a lot heavier with a goblet squat, just holding one weight this way, or you can hold it this way. I like to hold it this way. In a goblet squat, you want to keep the weight really close to your chest, okay? So we're not holding it out here. We're holding it really close to our chest. All the same form cues apply. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, squeeze the booty. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 1, 2. Whew. All right, so that's some different ways to hold the weights. Now, if you're going to do sumo, there's lots of different ways you can hold the weights in sumo squats too. You can put them here at your hips, which is a way to lift nice and heavy and not have the pressure on your forearms. You can hold them in front of you. Or my favorite way is to actually just hold one weight. Down, 2, 3, 4. Hold, press, 1, 2. Or you can also do a goblet. You can also do a goblet for your sumos. So I won't go over all of those. Now I'm going to go over just a little bit of modifications. So a great way that you can modify squats, if you're just a little bit nervous, like maybe you have tricky knees or weak hips and you're not really sure where your range of motion is, use a bench or a chair to offer you that little bit of support. So just down, 2, 3, 4. I'm not resting, I'm just tapping, stand, 1, 2. But that gives you the option to use it if you need to. The other option is just to grab a chair or something to hold on to on the wall for extra stability. You can always drop weights. You can always decrease your range of motion, as I shared before. Squats. We need to be able to squat, okay? Getting up off the toilet, climbing up into a car, climbing upstairs, sitting down and standing back up, getting up off of the ground from playing with our children, our grandchildren. This is an activity of daily life that we need, And in the gym, we are training, ladies. We are not just exercising to get small, to lose weight. We are in the gym to train for our lives and our longevity. If I cannot impress that upon you in the next week, I will be a complete and epic failure. That is my main goal here, is to encourage you to train for your life. It is so important. If you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out to me either in the Facebook group, in the comments of this video, or go ahead and feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to help you out. Today's move was the squat. I hope you enjoyed it. Incorporate it into your day, into your life. You can set a timer for 10 minutes and just do a couple different variations for 10 minutes. Set a goal of how many you can do in that 10 minutes. Try to increase that. Write down the weight that you're doing. You can have so much fun with this, whether that's trying to increase the amount of weight you're lifting, trying to increase the number of reps that you're doing, but you will absolutely feel the effects of this in your daily life. And that's what I love about it most of all. All right, I will talk to you soon. See you next time.